We've learned how to write posts, embed videos and images, and now it's time to make sure that we can find those posts again at a later time. And that's what this video is all about. And let's talk about tags and categories. This is a feature pages don't have, only posts have that feature. On your dashboard, head over to Posts or Posts and have a look at the categories and tags over here. We haven't applied any tags, and everything that we've written has ended somehow magically up in the uncategorized category. Uncategorized is one single default category that WordPress offers, and this is something that's called taxonomies. Taxonomies are really something from the animal kingdom, I believe, which allows researchers and biologists to group plants and wildlife together into groups. And it's the same thing, the principle is the same for our posts that we write. Maybe you're writing about cars and recipes. Just as an example, I suppose you'd have two websites for that in real life, but imagine one post was about a recipe and another post was about a car. And now a visitor wants to go ahead and see everything you've written about cars. It would be wise then to split your posts up. One post goes into cars if it's about a Ford or a Porsche, and one goes into the recipes category, which is about, Italian food and maybe Indian food and so forth. So to do that, we have categories and tags underneath the post option here. We can create them in a number of ways. Either head over to categories and create a new category here, or you can do it while you're writing a post. And you would do that down here. Add new category. And select it. As soon as you hit publish and refresh the front page, you will see that you have a new category here, and this post is part of it. If you ever want to rename a category, you do that from this menu here, Posts, Categories, and either use the Quick Edit menu, which we haven't quite talked about, or select the particular category and rename it here, and hit Update. Notice this Parent menu here. This is something that tags don't have. You could designate subcategories of other categories. So for example, Porsche and Ford would be subcategories of the cars category. So if you wanted to implement that, head over and create one called Porsche as an example. Make it a subcategory of cars. And now you can see the hierarchy here. The idea is that if someone were to look at all your cars, Porsche and maybe Ford and maybe Toyota would all come up. Whereas when somebody only looks at Porsche, only really Porsche posts come up, but no Ford and no Toyota posts. A post can be in more than one category at the same time. Simply select more than one. So it could be in both cars and the Porsche category, because at a later date you may decide that Porsche no longer needs to be a subcategory of cars. This can all be changed later, it's just something to be aware of. Tags work very similar. You could, instead of having a Porsche category, you could have a Porsche tag. Or you could have color tags, so you could have blue and metallic. Tags are a bit simpler than categories. They are just as much defined as categories. They don't have the sub-tag or subcategory option. A tag is a tag. A post can be a member of more than one tag at the same time. Simply click Add. And as soon as you've done that, these tags will also show up under the tags here. And you can edit them the same way. Tags and categories didn't quite make sense to me when I got started with my websites, but as time progressed I knew how important it was to have tags. And it is really vital to tag things. Let me show you why. As the number of posts increases on your website, it becomes harder and harder to filter out content. If everything was in one category, like all our test posts here were all in the uncategorized category, if I were to click this category and see an archive of all our posts, this would look hardly different than my front page. When you reach about 50-60 posts, it's really important that you know that things can be filtered out. So all my car posts are very few right now. Likewise with the blue and the metallic tags here. It's something that allows you to keep your website organized. Tags have one other funky feature that is both in the post edit menu where we just were, or in the quick edit menu, which I can show you right here. Hit it and you can edit certain properties in line. If a tag already exists in the database, all you have to do is type the first couple of letters and WordPress will pop up and say, hey, I've already got a tag that's called blue. So you can just select it from there. Likewise with metallic, a few letters and WordPress will give you what is already available in the database. Notice that posts don't have to have tags. So some posts just don't have them, and that's also fine. You don't have to tag posts. But posts do require a category. So any post is in at least one category, and by default that's the uncategorized category. This can be sometimes a little bit annoying because you're thinking, well, uncategorized doesn't really mean anything, and I'd rather my post isn't in any category at all. Sadly, we can't do that. There's no mechanism to make that happen. But what we can do is we can convince WordPress that if you create a new post and you do not specify a category, it could pick something other than uncategorized. WordPress does this, it's called the default category. And you can set that under Settings, Writing. If we head over here, we can see that we have a default post category, and that is currently set to uncategorized. From the drop-down menu, pick any of the other categories that you have, and then from now on, new posts, if you don't specify a category, they'll go into that category. If you want to remove uncategorized altogether, you must have at least one other category. Pick it. I'm just going to go for bacon. No offense, vegetarians. Save your changes. Head over to Posts, Categories, and now you can delete the uncategorized category. Because bacon is now our default category, the delete option does not come up, so whatever's the default category cannot be deleted. But now that uncategorized is no longer our default category, we can remove it. This won't delete any of your posts, it will just remove the references to uncategorized from any of these posts. And it will also put them in the new default category.